Our childhood, and the memories it leaves us with, helps to shape the way we are. For the lucky ones, they're memories of carefree days, of freedom and fun. The security of a family and home, where the only concern is what game to play next. But for some children, life isn't like that. Refugees or asylum-seeking children who arrive in this country with memories of a very different kind. Darker, disturbing, haunting memories of extreme experiences. They may have witnessed or even suffered personally from violence, persecution, torture, the disappearance or death of family members. Uprooted from their homes and homelands, they and their families have sought safety in a strange land with a language and customs that are a mystery to them. And they're likely to be living with the stress of poverty, poor health, racism. It's little wonder that some need help in settling into their new lives and coming to terms with their past. And not just asylum-seeking or refugee children. Other young people may also have been uprooted from familiar places or had multiple losses in their lives and need extra help. And in Manchester, that help is available through a partnership of counsellors, therapists, psychologists and other health and education professionals, the Emotional and Trauma Support Team. There are many asylum-seeking pupils attending schools in Manchester, and lots of other children who have high levels of emotional need. Although most of them will manage to adjust successfully, around a quarter of those who have experienced some sort of trauma are likely to need help in recovering from it. In recent years, there's been growing recognition of the fact that early intervention and preventative work can significantly help those young people. And so in 2001, the ETS project was set up with finance provided by the Children's Fund, becoming part of overall strategy for promoting emotional well-being for all children. The local authority allocated extra resources to the pilot. So how are the young people who need the support of the ETS team identified? Well, those who have been traumatised by their experiences will often show signs of emotional or psychological distress, or both. They may be withdrawn, aggressive, fearful, unable to form relationships, and an observant teacher can pick up on that.
We referred a child for music therapy because he'd suffered a lot of emotional trauma and wasn't speaking at all. After his first music therapy session, he started talking in school and he was able to communicate with other children, make friends, and just from that first session, he became a lot more confident and able to socialise with other children and adults in school.
Coordinating the work or interventions of a variety of statutory and voluntary agencies, the ETS team has a range of options at its disposal, including bereavement and loss counselling and various types of creative therapy. Sessions may be one-to-one or in groups. The support the child needs could involve the school, the family, community services, or a combination of all three. It could be needed straight away or at some time in the future. It could involve staff with specific language skills or who have special affinity with the child's background.
I work with a family from the Congo where there was a high level of distress. And myself being from there, I could communicate with them and understand what's going on in the family, especially for this family that the father disappeared, that affected the whole family. And having moved to the UK, that caused more distress to the family. So we identified that the family, especially the child, had particular needs. So we managed to organize for the child to be part of the players. And through that, we realized that there were also other issues that we needed to work on. So that's how we managed to get him into art therapy. And from there, it worked out fine because toward the end, he settled after a year of taking part, settled.
Every case and every child is different. And before deciding whether indeed there should be an intervention, and if so, what is the most effective and when it should begin, there's a lot to be considered. Once a decision has been made as to what kind of support would benefit the child most, the ETS team works closely with parents or carers and with the school to make sure it's as effective as possible.
We have several strategies in place in the school, but what we found was that ETS with drama therapy and music therapy, art therapy, they were particularly successful in the school.
The next case is, like all of them, multifaceted. It's a 5-year-old child seemingly troubled by past experiences, extreme experiences in his home country, seen in his drawings and play, and also experiencing difficulties in school. For his parents, it's the present which is causing the greatest difficulty, and those seem to be the priority needs. It's the asylum process and its impact on their relationship. So the current plan is that Roots will become involved around the asylum process. Yunella and I will work with the school and link in with the family, and Yunella will work directly with the child, and fortunately she speaks his language.
Counselling sessions and the various types of creative therapy take place in the school itself, but somewhere safe and private. Many of them are based around subjects which are part of the normal curriculum, and the fact that the sessions are held in a familiar environment like school, rather than the clinic, means they're not only more convenient and accessible, but the child also feels more comfortable about attending them. In this session, the children are taking part in structured play journeys, which can help them build friendships and become more self-confident.
Players gives children an opportunity to kind of a bit of downtime away from kind of the academic restraints, and for them just to kind of connect on a social and emotional level with adults, have a better relationship with adults, and obviously to connect with their peers as well. So.
Using non-verbal means to explore and express their thoughts and emotions, often through the use of metaphor and story, is an effective way of helping young people deal with their emotional and psychological problems. Music therapy helps them communicate in a universal language of sound and rhythm and build relationships with their therapist and with other young people. There's also drama therapy, which uses drama and theatre techniques to help build new awareness while creating a safe distance from the issue in question. Art therapy is not only highly enjoyable, but also helps young people to express their thoughts and feelings in new ways.
The young person that I'm working with at the moment is a 14-year-old girl from Congo who has had a lot of difficulties in her past that have been very difficult for her to articulate and to talk about. And I'm working with her in school using art therapy. It's been really useful for her, I think, because it's given her an easier way to try and explore some really difficult feelings. She was acting out a lot in school and was actually becoming quite aggressive with other pupils as a result of bullying and not feeling able to talk to anybody about her experiences. And a lot of the work that she's done with me has been around fear and worry, and she's been able to express it in ways through her art making that I don't think she actually would have had words for. And she has said that the most helpful thing has been having somebody help her explore her own story and to feel that her story's been witnessed by somebody. She's also found it very helpful having someone to work with who's not a member of staff at the school or a family member or a friend, because she's felt more able to express things that she might have felt embarrassed about or even ashamed of. So I think it's been really helpful.
All these creative arts therapy processes take place within the context of the therapeutic relationship, one based on trust and confidentiality. And the therapists are all professionally trained and registered with the Health Professions Council. And it's not just refugees or asylum-seeking children who can benefit from them.
The children that I've been working with are children that appear to be lost, children that are harbouring stories, children that are carrying issues that they don't know how to hold on to themselves. I found that they've used art materials so they can develop their own personal language to a level which they haven't done before, put it outside of their bodies so that they can actually physically see it, and through doing that, they can actually sometimes communicate to other people with those images, specifically in artwork, because it doesn't rely on any of the orthodox languages and wordings and writing or anything that would compartmentalise what their thought processes would have been anyway.
When I first heard about art therapy, I was rather sceptical, to be totally honest. I decided to give it a try because I was running out of options with some of these kids. We don't really know what Andy does because it's like a hallowed secret in here. It's entirely his thing, and the kids don't tell us either. So it's a bit of a mystery. But what I have noticed, and his form teacher Nick has noticed, is that over the last 6 to 8 months since it's been taking place, there's been quite a profound change in the behaviours of the kids that have been involved in art therapy.
The effectiveness of art therapy in helping young people come to terms with difficult emotions is clearly shown in a series of drawings and paintings by a refugee child who fled to this country from a war zone. He endured things that no child should have to. The violent death of 3 brothers, being shot himself, a harsh and hazardous journey to safety in the UK. The war, the violence, his weeping mother, the perilous journey. All were recorded in the disturbing pictures he produced. But over time, they gave way to an altogether different painting, a peaceful scene of a house in the woods. Another activity which can bring emotional healing is growing and nurturing plants, therapeutic horticulture.
Horticulture is based here at the school as an activity for the pupils to work on at their own pace and in a space that they're familiar with and secure in. The activities they undertake are of their own choice, but essentially what we're looking to do is to use those activities, seed sowing, pricking out, potting on, growing, harvesting, as a parallel for their own lives, and that might be explicit or it might be less explicit insofar as that they can experience those processes and then use the parallels in their own lives. We also work down at a local allotment which gives the pupils the opportunity to work at their own pace and to be more relaxed about what they're doing and experiencing. And it's from this experience that they can start to work through some of their fears and hopes from the past and for the future.
I think it's a really powerful vehicle for education. I think it's a powerful vehicle for these youngsters. And I think what it's succeeded in doing is engaging them in the education process in this country, whether they are difficult kids from Manchester or they're kids who come from another part of the world altogether. I think it's working really well. And I can imagine that maybe many people looking at this bit of film will think, oh, well, my school's different. I've got, St. Peter's has all these children from abroad. But take it from me, it's not just about children from abroad. It's about children who've got some kind of emotional trauma. It doesn't have to just be for children who come from abroad. Children in the cities, children with trouble, cities or towns, wherever they are, I think it benefits them.
Whether through horticulture, art, music, drama or structured play, the creative therapies provided by the ETS team have proved to be a highly successful way of helping young people manage their emotions and deal with traumatic experiences in their past. And also effective in schools has been the Pharos programme.
When it was implemented, we had to select pupils, and the type of pupils who were chosen were those who, when they first came over, they were having problems settling in, they were finding it hard to make friends, socializing. Some pupils were even teary. After we, the whole process of doing the lessons proved very fruitful because they saw that they had a lot in common with each other and they were not necessarily all isolated, feeling like strangers. And I think the whole process of going through, I trialed 12 lessons at a set time, set date. that was fruitful because then I saw friendships being formed. I saw that they were starting to become more comfortable with themselves, with being here, being in the British system. And I thought, just as a whole, as a support system, education system, I thought that was quite beneficial.
Meeting the emotional and psychological needs of the young people that the ETS team supports involves a wide variety of approaches and a lot of different agencies.
As being a refugee child myself, I can empathise with the families who are arrived. One particular child I'm working with, she wasn't in school, was quite traumatised. I got the community health and paediatrician involved, the psychiatrist. She's on medication. She had no support, no schooling. She's now got permanent status and is in full-time school.
For the ETS team, it's another success story to add to an ever-growing list. For the young person herself, it's the chance to forge a brighter, happier future. All the young people supported by the team have built up resilience to deal with past trauma and move on in their lives. A survey of cases in 2007 showed that 3/4 of the youngsters involved gained in confidence. 2/3 became more cooperative and more aware of other people's feelings. 84% were more motivated and had higher aspirations. 92% improved their communication skills and could use non-verbal ways of communicating, leading to a reduction of stress or trauma. Emotional and trauma support works. For the young people it helps, for their families and for their schools.
When I came to this country, I had an idea that I'm not going to have any problem, but we had a little bit problem of accommodation, and my children were not happy, and my eldest son almost wanted to end his life. He had a very good support from ETS. They really helped us a lot, and they supported him a lot, and they helped us to get a house, and also he was helped for his education, and now he's taking law, and he is very happy.
ETS was set up to respond to a growing population of refugee or asylum-seeking children in Manchester. But from these beginnings, it has developed into a service for all children who have undergone extreme experiences. And over the past 8 years, a strong body of local practice-based evidence has been built up. Huge importance has been placed on quality assurance and professional supervision for practitioners, and to ensure that the highest quality of service is maintained. For more information about how the emotional and trauma support team can help, or how they can act as consultants, please contact the team direct